Hey everyone, Brantflix here, back with another Eternal Return video. Today I'm going to talk about a list of characters that I personally believe will be nerfed, and most of them I do dislike. Obviously, these characters might not be nerfed, but I think for the sake of my sanity and the sanity of many other players, I think a lot of us are hoping that at least some of these people get nerfed. So we'll see what happens, but I'll be suggesting a list of characters that should be nerfed, as well as alternatives to these characters that might be nerfed if you want to just start preparing in normal games or your ranked games for these characters dropping out of the meta. Obviously, Noble Neuron is their own entity, and I have no insight into how they make these balance decisions, because they do post like their balance philosophies, but obviously companies aren't obligated to consistently follow those philosophies. And again, a lot of these characters can be argued to not be broken or not be strong depending on how you look at stats. But all that aside, to get straight to the point, let's just start the video. So the first character I want to talk about is Hart. If you've been playing the game, you understand how obnoxious Hart is right now. She has great damage, she has great burst, she has great crowd control, and she has great utility. All those things just make her a very strong character overall, to the point where she is probably the most popular character in the game right now for a auto-attack carry. Now, you can say that Hart is very squishy, but unfortunately, she comes with the thing where she has this ultimate that kind of suppresses everyone around her and gives her a multiple hundreds of HP shield and lets her reposition her teammates and all that. She comes with this triple dash that has been like quadrupled in length since the 1.0 release. I don't know why they did that, but they have. She now has access to a lot of characters that will support her, which get her HP even higher, and her Q has been changed, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but has been changed to be a double cast, which makes it way stronger because now instead of having to like charge it with your E, you just simply get the extra damage you would have gotten before. Now obviously you do have to hit both ends to get the slow, but it comes with a benefit, whereas in the past you would have to wait a while for the Q to charge up to get the slow. Now you can just fire it off immediately, and I don't know if you guys know this, but Heart's cooldown starts when you cast it, so you can even potentially get more damage from spam casting Q as opposed to holding it to full, because if you hold to full, obviously you get double damage, but what if you just tapped it twice and had it more often and had better slow uptime? So yeah, Hart does a lot. She has a lot of damage in her kit, she has a lot of damage to her autos, and it's just a big question of why she's still so broken, and kind of impressive honestly, since she's been nerfed so many times in hotfixes and patches already. All that said, who are you playing if Hart is nerfed? My first recommendation would be Rozzi. Rozzi is very fun to play, she's very fluid. She has a very consistent amount of damage through her ability rotations and some pretty good burst if you hit her ultimate, which was at one point memed to be the hardest skill shot in the game, which I don't think it was at the time, but that's just what people would say because the players would miss that skill shot so often. But she has good damage, she has a lot less self-peel when it comes down to like healing and overall utility. She does have like a flip on her E, which allows her to immune a lot of skills, and she has a lot of dashes through her Q and a lot of movement speed through her W, but in the end she trades a lot of that like pure power that Hart has for more flashy rotations and casting. She's a lot more vulnerable because she doesn't have as much range, but she does a lot of damage and you'll definitely notice that damage, and Rozzi is definitely not going to get touched this patch unless it's for a buff, which would make her even better in that scenario. Two other characters you could play instead of Hart and Rozzi are going to be Air Isol and Air Aya. Air Isol does a lot of damage, he has innate armor shred, and he has a great self-pick tool with his Q. He is a bit weaker on the terms of self-peel and durability, but again, you do have other characters as options to help prevent that. Air Isol's main form of like escape is his tumble, which makes him invisible. Cameras are kind of hard to get to consistently right now in the meta, so it's not too big of a deal, but just be aware of that because Aya, Rozzi, and Hart all have way better escape options than just a tiny dash with invisibility attached to it. So Air Aya is kind of the lower damage but much safer version of Air Isol. She has a shield on her passive that gets reduced by 3 seconds, I believe, or like 1.5 seconds depending on how much they've changed the reduction since the heyday. But she has a shield that comes up more often as the fight goes on longer, and she's a bit safer in regards that she has like a W that can be freely casted while moving. Isol has that too, but I think actually Isol's might be better now that I think about it, so Isol also has a good amount of peel with his W alone. But with all that said, Aya's E goes a lot faster and moves a lot further than Isol's E, and her Q is a true steroid that kind of makes her a bit more fast to fire when she pops her frenzy. So it's really up to you if you want to choose Air Aya or Air Isol if you're looking for that more classic AD carry aspect. And if you're looking for like a caster focused AD carry, Rozzi will be your gal. So moving on from the AD carry topic, just because that is a very big issue in the game right now, we can talk about the other big issue, which is the tank slash bruiser category. So in my opinion, these actually aren't tanks, they're just very overtuned bruisers that happen to have a lot of innate mitigation. Obviously this is kind of up for discussion, not really a place for this video, but in my head tanks are more utility focused than they are pure damage focused, which a lot of these tanks can do. So I guess the most tanky bruiser we can talk about at the moment is going to be Estelle. Estelle's shield gives her insane mitigation that also eats projectiles for free. Her charge lets her go very far, which lets her rat very well, and gives her insanely good mitigation, or initiation rather. Her Q allows her to stun, which is a pretty good form of self-peel, but most of her damage and most of her utility will also come from her little water spray she does when her shield is up. So really most of her power is during her shield mode. Her like axe form, you could say, is more just for like small utility where she stuns randomly and slows randomly. And to put the cherry on top, she has an ultimate that provides a fat shield to her and allows her to get out of sticky situations early enough if she uses it early enough, where she can just like jump out of a team fight and land on someone across the map. So a friend brought this up to me, but a great idea for a nerf on that is to just make it same zone, so the Estelle can't just teleport across the entire game to escape a bad fight that she took for no reason. We'll see though. Estelle has a lot of utility. It'll be very, very hard for her to be out of meta, especially in the squad zone, unless Nimble like literally remove a part of her kit. She is literally the most popular character in the game right now, and I think that is kind of problematic because not only is she super strong, her numbers are also super good, so she does need to be like hit really hard. We'll see though. Nimble known for like a very slow balancing when it comes down to it, so I'm not really sure if we're going to see fast and hard nerfs. So Nicky is going to be my recommendation if you want an alternative to Estelle. She is also very tanky. She lacks a lot of that healing and shielding power that Estelle has, but she does peel very well. She's a lot more of a mage bruiser than she is of a tank, as Estelle is closer to. But in the end, you know, she is pretty fun, so you can have her as an option. Lenox is another character that has been very popular as of late. I think her popularity has dropped off a little bit, but it's undeniable that she's still very strong and very tanky. She has a lot of poke utility, she has a lot of peel utility, and she has an insane catch with her W, which I think has probably been the biggest issue of her kit. Obviously she always had it with her whip skill, but her W is a much shorter cooldown and a lot more accessible. Whip skill is pretty terrible, but it goes to show how strong Lenox is when she can just not have that anymore, like have a really garbage weapon skill and still be so popular. So yeah, if you're playing a lot of ranged characters, Lenox will never be incorrect just because she can peel for them super well, and it's very annoying to play against if you're playing in melee. The only character that I can think that would provide this similar solution to Lenox would be 11, but 11 also might be getting nerfed just because there are a few really high performing 11s in the meta. She isn't super turbo performing, so she should be fine, but again, it's hard to predict how Nimble does its balancing because sometimes it's pretty on point and sometimes it's very off point. So we'll see what happens in the next patch. I should also add that I'm like staring at the stats as I'm talking about in this video, and Mai is actually probably an also excellent secondary to Estelle because Mai also gives you a lot of utility when it comes to like yoinking teammates out of danger, and also providing a lot of utility when it comes to engagement with their E. So I think Mai's a lot closer to a bruiser. She does have some random peel option in her ultimate, but the rest of her kit does rely on you running at people and hitting them and hitting your taunt, so should be pretty good. So yeah, I think the last character I could really talk about, I don't really know if this character's gonna be nerfed. I think she's just popular, but I don't know if she's that strong. It's gonna be Tazia, who's a very melee mage. Again, not really sure it's gonna be nerfed, and I don't think there's many Tazia players right now at the moment, but if Tazia's nerfed, Vanya will be a fine secondary, and I don't really want to talk too much about that one just because it's more of like a hunch than it is an actual confirmation, because not many people complain about Tazia, but we'll see. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Obviously I didn't bring up Adina just because if Adina is nerfed there really is no secondary to go to, but yeah, hopefully the patch will be good. Hopefully Nimble will make smart decisions. If they don't, it'll be pretty sad, but it is what it is, just how patch notes go with any game. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, have a good day or night wherever you are, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.